Ghostbusters is one of my favourite franchises I think that has ever come out. Along with the Back to the Future car, the Ecto 1 was probably one of my top picks for getting a creator car version. And now with rumours circulating that the Back to the Future car is coming next year, it just made me want a classic version of the Ecto 1 more, so I can put these two 80s cars next to each other on a final display. Then that got me thinking about the Afterlife version that's come out, and clearly it's based on the Afterlife version with these rust stickers and the ladder being on the incorrect side, but it's only obvious that I make a mods video showing you how to make this look more like the Ghostbusters 1 version. But here's the thing, I couldn't just live with making the Ghostbusters 1 version of this car. As this set was based off of Afterlife, and now seeing the film, I just want to make this version of the car extremely detailed, and I have a good way of doing that, which we'll see later on in the video. So how's this video going to work? We're going to do 5 mods on the Ghostbusters 1 version, and then 5 other mods on the Afterlife version, totaling 10 mods that you guys can do to your Ghostbusters cars. Taking a look at the original set, it's pretty obvious what the first mod's going to be, and it's simply just don't put the stickers on the model. Even though some people could say this mod is a cop-out, I truly think it's worth mentioning. Not putting the rust stickers on the car really does make this look like the original car without major modification. In fact, most of my friends and people I know don't do this specifically to make it look more like the Ghostbusters 1 version of the Ecto 1. Modification 2 here is the ladder. Now on the original car, the ladder was actually on the right side of the car, and was moved onto the driver's side of the car, probably so they could fit in that gunner seat. Unfortunately, this mod isn't as simple as you would think. Obviously, the top of the ladder is relatively easy to just remove and swap over to the other side. However, that bottom bit where the clips come in, you're gonna have to be very careful removing that section of the car just to flip it round to the other side. But I must say, one of my favourite things about this car is the fact that it's been completely reworked even though it looks the same on the outside. Meaning the interior is different and completely based on the first film of Ghostbusters. So gone is the RTV and the gunner seat, and replaced with a normal looking seat, some different ghost tech in the car where the RTV once was, and the back of the car has a complete floor instead of having the RTV ejection point, meaning that play feature of this car was completely removed. But even though the interior was completely reworked, the ghost sniffer on the top and the steering still function as normal. But the best thing that I have to say that's been modified on this entire build is something that I really didn't think that could be pulled off, just using the original parts on the set, and that's having all of the doors function the way that they should from the Ghostbusters 1 film, basically meaning that the gunner seat door would have to be completely removed and reworked so the door could function like a normal car door instead of a royalty seat, and try and give some functionality to the door on the other side, considering that was always a static door on the original set. But all of these mods so far haven't actually been made by me. No, these 4 mods are actually included in an instructions pack by Psycho Ward 666 over on Rebrickable. Hey, I didn't pick his name. Either way, he has made a version of the Ghostbusters car that outlines the modifications that I've put here, meaning you guys can do this very easily to your car if you guys want a more accurate representation of the original Ecto 1. His instructions are linked below, and they're about $10, and you will have to deconstruct your entire car as the build is completely different. But once you rebuild it, you'll have something that looks like this, and this truly is a really nice, accurate representation of how the Ecto 1 looked in that original film. I think the designers did really well designing this set, and Psycho Ward just took it to the next level, giving it that original look for no extra cost. But turning to something that I actually designed, something I wish that had been included in the original set was these Proton Packs. One of the best parts of this original set was that printed dish piece which represented the cyclotron on the Proton Pack on the back of the gunner seat. I had a spare one considering the gunner seat wasn't going to be included on this original Ecto 1, so I thought if I was going to do the extra accessories like the gurney that would go in the back of this, which I do plan to do in the future, I would also love to see some Proton Packs, and specifically use that printed piece to give myself some extra detail on the model. So I came up with this. Now this is so cool, I'm really happy the way that these turned out. And yes, before you ask in the comment section, I will be making instructions for them. There's actually a section already over on my website. However, the instructions are not ready just yet. Please be patient, they will come eventually. It's probably worth just checking back in a few weeks. And not only will this instructions pack have the gurney included, it will also have the KPE meter and this original ghost trap. The ghost trap that came with the original Afterlife set was very, very good. And although I have done some modifications to my one, changing out just 2 or 3 pieces here and there, nothing compares to having an original Ghostbusters 1 ghost trap. along with foot pedal to suit. I love the way that these two models ended up, and I can't wait to build the rest of them to put on my display when I finally get all my creator cars in a line in one display spot. Let me know in the comments section if you guys would eventually like to see that video. But after seeing Afterlife, I couldn't neglect the Afterlife version. In fact, I wanted to just make it better. And this is where I got the most creative, because if I'm honest, I did most of the mods for this one. So starting off very similar to the Ghostbusters 1 mods, I actually wanted to not put the sticker sheet on right away. I think one missed trick here with this original set was only having rust detail in sticker form when I think it would have been much better in terms of a brick-built solution. However, saying that, I can completely see why they stuck it to sticker form, mainly for those people who do want the cleaner look, and like I say, I know a lot more people that have done the cleaner look than the rusty look. But if I'm honest, this just looks so much nicer when you have all the brick-built detail. It almost makes the rust look like it's actually being discolored from the white. And yes, I did painstakingly go through the film to see where the most rust buildup was on the brand new ECTO 1, so I'm hoping I've matched some of the rust detail from the film pretty well. But one thing that will allow us to get a slight bit more detail is actually using that same rusty sticker sheet. I carefully went through and accented some of this brick-built rust with the sticker sheet to give it a little bit more of that detail, almost making it look like the white is peeling away and revealing the dark bluish grey or the tan pieces. This effect worked really well on the hood of the car, where I've done a few more things to help accent the fact that this is an old beat-up version of the ECTO 1. I also think it was important to make these Ghostbusters logos look a bit more old and battered by using some of these stickers, placed in the corners of the printed piece, making the Ghostbusters logo feel like it's a lot older and making it feel like the Ghostbusters logo is peeling off as well as the paint. It's little things like that which really do accent this car, and I feel like they don't have enough to just do it with stickers. I feel like you need at least 3 of these sticker sheets to really give that effect off with just using stickers. So it's a shame that LEGO didn't produce some form of alternative build and just provide some dark tan and dark bluish grey pieces so you can do this modification yourself if you wanted to. But I get it, the sticker sheet is still fine. And honestly, this is still one of my favourite sets of last year. One thing I wanted to do is just make everything feel a little bit older, so pieces have been swapped out here and there for different colours to make it look either faded or just different from the original car. Take the roof rack for example. Firstly, I've moved some of these lights on their hinges to make it look like they're falling off. And with the light rack, I've changed it from a dark trans blue to a light trans blue to make it look like the glass on the inside is faded. Something you don't really notice unless you have both of them next to each other, but a fun detail nonetheless. Not only that, half of the ghost sniffer is now grey to show that the paint has faded off over time, same with the antenna on the radar dish, and now some of the windows and red pieces are represented in a darker colour to just show some wear and tear on the car. Giving different colour variation makes it look aged. But I think the thing that looks the most aged all over this model is the front grille. Now, the front grille on the original model is very much like the Ghostbusters 1 version I've done here. Nothing really looks old, everything looks pristine, and as most people can see from the trailers of Ghostbusters Afterlife, the front of the car actually looks very different. It seems to look a lot darker for some reason, as if it's been burnt, and it seems like it's been in that garage so long that plants are starting to grow all over it. So with my one, I've decided to do this. As you can see, I've changed out those 2 white bonnet pieces to change them out from white to dark bluish grey to represent that burnt look. Not only that, I've changed up some of the colours on the hood here and added some cheese slopes on there to make it look like the front of the car is dented. Not only that, but my favourite effect I think is changing out some of these roller skate pieces for a dark tan or black variant. This really does help with the aged look of the car, and I think that slanted number plate, although maybe not that accurate, really does sell this look even more. And that's not even mentioning under the hood. Under the hood, I've actually put a lot of plant pieces in to show that there's vegetation still growing in the car. Remember that this car could have potentially been sat around for 30 plus years, so seeing 1 or 2 plants under the hood isn't that unusual. Being able to have all these plants under the hood and still have the hood close is definitely cool and a worthwhile upgrade. And moving on to the last mod is installing a light kit. Now, as much as I'd like to show this off, I actually took my light kit off my car so I could make the ECTO 1 version from Ghostbusters 1. So unfortunately, my light kit is just in pieces at the moment, but what I will show you is the Light My Brick version of this same kit. It's an incredibly detailed lighting kit that really does make your ECTO 1 look like it's come straight out of the film. A worthwhile upgrade, taking that ECTO 1 from a 10 to an 11. If you guys want to do any of these ECTO 1 mods, keep an eye on my website, as in the next coming weeks, I will be releasing instructions as well as a guide on how to install all of these Afterlife mods in case you guys wanted to make your Afterlife version of the car look a lot nicer. I really do think this Afterlife version of the Ghostbusters car is still one of the best sets of 2020, but I definitely think this should not be the last Ghostbusters Afterlife set. And it's funny I should say that as I talk a lot more about that side of things in my spoiler review of the movie. If you've seen the film and you want to go check out my review and what I thought of it, as well as what I think LEGO have planned for the Ghostbusters Afterlife theme, you can click the screen now to check that out. Click the screen, I'll see you in the next one.